Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for my end of 2020 Q&A. I did my hair and makeup thinking I was going to put on a cute top, but I just want to be comfortable during this Q&A. I do want to show you guys the earrings I'm wearing. I'm going to show you guys a close-up, but a very sweet subscriber sent these to me, and she has them in her Etsy shop. And the shop name, I believe, is called Scarlet Jade Design, and I have it linked down below for you guys. But look how cute they are, the Mickey Mouse shaped earrings and the confetti. I love it. She also sent me some that were just the silver sparkle. So I love these. They are so cute. Thank you so much for sending them to me. They will go with everything. I'm going to wear them a ton. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with this Q&A because there are a lot of questions. This is going to be a very difficult Q&A to film because some of the answers I have to kind of find that line of what to say and what I'm comfortable saying. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the questions up from Instagram and get started with this. I'm hoping that once I do this Q&A, I can kind of like lay some of these to rest and move into 2021 and just let this year go, because 2020 has been a hard year for everyone, not just me, for all of us. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to try to do the most commonly asked questions because, as you guys probably already know, there are a lot of questions about things that I went through this year. I'm going to start by, this person asked, do you support yourself completely or do your parents chip in? Up until the house, they did not help me with like money wise. Brian does pay child support and I do work, so no, they don't have to help me financially or anything like that. When this house came up, obviously it was a different story, so again, I'm very thankful for them. But like on the day-to-day basis, no, they do not. A lot of questions about this. I was kind of surprised. This person, I'll just read one of them. She asked, who was the guy you dated before Tyler and why did y'all break up? His name was AJ. We had a TikTok together. I did bring him on YouTube one time for a Q&A. We dated for, I don't forget how many months exactly it was. We were friends before we actually started dating. Okay, a lot of different reasons why we broke up and a lot of questions about if we still are in contact with each other. For that answer, yes, we still communicate. We still see each other out. I mean, I don't live in the biggest town, so we do still randomly see each other. We do talk on occasion. Most of the time it's about his daughter or stuff going on with like mutual friends of ours. I try not to communicate with him a ton because I just don't think it's necessarily appropriate, just because I am in another relationship. But basically, our breakup was just a plethora of things. I know that I take responsibility for the fact that I kind of blindsided him with the breakup. I just didn't see how our futures would have matched each other. And what I mean by, a lot of people assume that it was because I decided that I wanted to get married one day, and that's not the case. I never would have married him because that's not something that he wanted, and I'm not looking to get married again unless I feel it's right. And collectively we both never wanted to get married. It was more of the fact of he still had issues with the age gap. He always had a thing in his mind saying that because I was so much younger than him that eventually I would leave him, and so he held back a lot. Different things. He had a lot going on with his ex-wife. He was married for 13 years and it wasn't the best relationship with him at the time, and there was a lot of issues being caused on that, and I just didn't really want to be a part of. I mean, just several things. Like, for instance, he would never have moved ever, and you know, I'm in a situation where maybe I will want to move sometime and I don't really want to be held back. So there were a lot of outside things that happened. I did break it off kind of without warning, but I was just ready at that time and I didn't really want to waste any more of my time, if that makes sense. So he's a wonderful person and he is just a great man. However, it just wasn't meant to be for us in a romantic relationship. I do feel upset that we can't really have a close friendship now because it wouldn't be appropriate, but there's no hostility. The next person asked, what do you see in a year's time? So in a year from now, it will be December next year, so ending next year. My plan is, well, I'm on track to graduate in August of next year with my ADN and take my NCLEX to be RN. December next year, I should have just finished my first semester of my BSN program. The first semester is going to be just a statistics class and an intro to sociology class. So that will be kind of a lot easier than the actual nursing program itself. And then I will be transitioning into starting the 3 semesters of straight BSN classes that are all nursing classes. I'm really excited looking towards that point, to think in a year from now I'm going to have my RN and I'm going to be working as a nurse. It is mind-blowing to me. I'm still in shock that I passed last semester. Like, I know I keep saying that, but I was just prepared to have to repeat it. And yeah, so in a year from now, I think I will just be still taking in the fact that I am a, like, for real nurse. The next person asked, what is your dream RN job? I've said this before, I would love to be a forensic nurse. The next question is, how will your custody agreement work moving forward? Because if you're newer, my ex-husband lives in Iowa and I live in Alabama. So in the paperwork, we are very civil with each other, so we can kind of just decide what's going to work for us. But for instance, I'm going up there over spring break and the kids will be with him. And in the summertime, they will go back to him for 6 weeks without me. That'll be really rough on me, because 6 weeks is a long time. But it almost works out in a way, because since I'm graduating at the end of the summer, I can finish up the last half of my final semester of nursing school and not have to worry about, you know, the kids being here, and I'll be able to study as much as possible. And it really works out in that aspect. But holiday trade-offs, it just depends on his flight schedule and, you know, what's going on here. We can meet halfway, which is about 8 hours for both of us, 7.5 or so. But I offered in spring break, because I want to visit Iowa anyways, I would just drive them up there, and then whenever the week is over, I will drive them back. Everyone keeps asking me this question. I really just don't have an answer for it. Everyone keeps asking, would you have more kids? Are you and Tyler planning on having kids in the future? That is such a big question. I have no idea. I can have more kids, but I just don't know. I just don't know. I love being a mom. At the point that I would even consider having more children, we're talking like 4 years from now, and the twins will be 6. So I think it would be easy to have a baby when you have, you know, the twins in school, and Anderson will be 11. But I just don't know, like, at that point, will I want to start the baby stage over? Probably so, because, you know, I love that stage and I love being a mom. I mean, I don't know. It just depends on what is in the plan. Right now, school is my priority outside of the kids. I have to, you know, do the schooling. I for sure want to get my BSN. I'm going straight through. So in 2 years from now, I will be graduating with my BSN. And then looking at NP school, which is nurse practitioner school. I think I want to go into acute care. So there's a lot of things that I want to accomplish that I put off, and now is that time that I'm doing it. And I don't really want to take a break necessarily to have another child. So I don't know. It's very possible, yes. But right now I just don't have an answer. A lot of questions on if Tyler is moving in with me. The answer is no, not right now. Another question, and I have to answer this because he actually answered it for me on FaceTime. The question is, are you guys paying Tyler for renovating the house? Like, he has really stepped up and just taken over this project. He just wants to do it the way that I want to do it, and he can do most of it. So from day one, he's like, let me help you. Let me help you get this the way that you want it. And I didn't know that that meant he was going to be like hands-on over there all the time. This man has just dedicated all his free time to this project, and I am very thankful for it. He will not let us pay him, but we do feed him all the time. I'm going to insert the clip right here of us on FaceTime and me laughing whenever I got this question, and you can see his answer.
Hey, never received my paycheck for the past month. I sent several invoices, never got anything. Out of supplies. This is the last brush I got. I've had to use this 4 days straight. It sounds like a bag of chips. We're out of toilet paper.
to think that I am using you for all this labor.
And you can't even get me supplies.
You're such a liar. I'm gonna pee my
I had to move
pants.
light bulbs. I had to move light bulbs from the kitchen to the hallway so I could see.
The next question is, would you have to do IVF again to have more kids if you met the right person? So we did IVF, my ex-husband and I did, but it was because of male infertility. Like, they couldn't find anything wrong with me as to why I wasn't getting pregnant. It was strictly because of his low sperm count and motility. So depending on, like, for instance, if Tyler and I are, you know, going to be together and we decide to have a child one day, it would matter if he had any issues. So I don't know the answer to that. I would prefer not to do IVF again if I didn't have to. If it came down to that, I don't think I would want to go through IVF again because of the situation of my internal bleeding after my egg retrieval. It was very scary. I would look more towards maybe adoption or something like that. If I could get out of it, definitely no more IVF if I don't have to. My next goal after I move into my house, graduating. I will be moving in before I graduate nursing school. I'm very happy to do that. I really don't want to have to move in like right afterwards, starting a new job and everything like that, which was the original plan. But my goal will just be to graduate school and finish early like I always plan to in August. That is my big goal right now. And I mean, we're to the point where I'm about to be in the year that I will graduate. And I mean, 7 months and I'm going to be done. It's so surreal to me. It's been a long journey already, but there's still 7 months of more hardships and the hardest classes still to come. So fingers crossed I can keep my sanity through this entire thing. Okay, someone asked about Tyler meeting the kids. He did meet them and his family met them. It was kind of all at the same time on Christmas. There were 2 people who had this question. It was worded very similarly. Someone said, do you feel like you're moving fast with your new boyfriend, especially having kids? So Tyler and I have been dating almost right at 6 months, and he just met them. To put this in perspective, AJ and I were dating several months, and we never even had the conversation about him meeting the kids. There was just no rush, and I never got to a point that I felt like it was right. And so dating Tyler, I mean, some people will say that 6 months is insanely fast. Some will say that 6 months is too long. I don't personally have any friends that waited as long as 6 months to introduce their kids to their significant others. And the way that I feel about it, it was more about how when I felt was right and I felt comfortable with it. I've been around his family several times. They are very kind people, and the situation just came up on Christmas. And I just, when they asked me, I felt okay with it, and I felt right, and it went way better than I ever thought. It was, honestly, I was so anxious getting there. When I got there, everything just like went away. It was amazing, and I felt very blessed in that moment to be around these people, and they are such kind people, and they welcomed my children in, and they acted like they had always been there. Like at one point I had to pee, and I come back out, and Tyler's dad's holding Rafferty and sitting by Innocent on her iPad like playing this game, and Tyler's mom had a Winslet showing her something outside through the window, and it was just like we had always been there. It wasn't odd, like no one acted like we shouldn't have been there, or no one made it feel awkward, if that makes sense. The only one that took it what am I trying to say? The only person that made it that big of a deal was me, because I was just really, really nervous. I've never had to do this before. Tyler did really well too. And like I said, it's like they'd all been there. And there was one point when Rafferty was eating and his sister was feeding him. Tyler's sister was feeding him, and he was kind of like scooting over on the chair, and Tyler said, hey, he's about to fall off, make sure you're watching him. Like he just acted like he was so protective over him. And I don't know, I can't say it in another way that makes more sense than it felt like everything was normal, like we had been there a million times. In the reality of things, I feel like if you don't make a big deal out of the person right away, they won't just get instantly attached. Like if you introduce someone as friends, Aniston's the one that matters the most right now because she's old enough to understand. You know, she's met nursing school friends of mine and never seen them again. You know, like I didn't say, hey, this is Tyler, this is mommy's boyfriend. You know, that's not what I said. So I think that it just matters about feeling, not time. People go in and out of your kids' lives all the time, like softball coaches, teachers, friends of your own. I mean, I had a best friend for years, and she's no longer in my life, and my daughter asks about her all the time. So you just have to play it by ear and do what's right for you. I don't think it was too fast. I think I waited until I felt like it was right, and it went well. And I just want to say this, I'm not going to throw shade at anyone, I just kind of want to compare two different scenarios because we're both YouTubers. But if you guys remember Brittany and Baby, she's a huge YouTuber on here. She went through a split up. He wasn't her husband, but they were together for a long time. And she met someone, and the first time she met him in person, her kids were there. So that just shows you whatever you feel is right, you should do. I mean, I personally could not do that. That would like scare me to death because I couldn't even let Tyler come over here just to sit outside of the house until I knew he wasn't a serial killer. But it just shows you that people are going to do things differently and they feel comfortable differently. Love you. Aniston brought me an ice cream sandwich. I could keep lecturing on that, but I'm going to move on because this video is going to be too long. The next question is about Paige. Do I still talk to her? Of course I do. We FaceTime, we text. I just FaceTimed her the day after Christmas, and Aniston got to see her and the twins got to see her, and it was really, really nice that they could exchange Christmas and do it kind of over FaceTime. She will always be a part of my life no matter what the situation is. She is really important to me, and so as I'm moving on to the next questions about the divorce, that's something I want you guys to keep in mind. The divorce questions, there's a lot of them. I didn't think you guys would forget that I got divorced. I don't know why. It's so funny. It's not funny, but it's funny to me that I thought maybe many people wouldn't bring up the situation. There's a lot of questions about what happened, why it happened, and a lot of speculation. Is that what you call it? I don't know. But a lot of, I guess, speculation about what happened and what went on. I just want to be very, I want to be transparent, but I just want to say this. Me telling the truth and coming out here and being completely honest and just saying it, I know it would feel really good to just be like, listen, I left because of this, because I know you guys would get it. But the feeling of getting it out does not surpass the feeling that I feel when I talk to Paige on the phone or text her and get to have her in my life. And I know that no matter what I said to make me feel better and just to tell the truth, I would never want to risk not being able to speak to her. And so that to me is more important. So a lot of what you guys speculate is absolutely correct. I will say that. You guys know what's being speculated. Yes. So if you know, you know. I have a lot of questions on if I'm getting the COVID vaccination or not. I'm not getting it yet. I just don't know. Like, I'm still kind of struggling with it. Our hospital is not making us or requiring us to get this vaccination. We've had the option to do it. My mom just got it, so I'm just kind of like watching her like see. It makes me very nervous because it is so new. But I'm curious, without getting in a debate in the comments, this is not meant to start a debate or arguments. Would you let me know in the comments if you are planning on getting it or if you've gotten it and how it's gone? Because I'm just not sure. This is something that I just don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about back and forth, and I'd love to hear your guys' experiences. Questions about Tyler meeting Brian and me meeting, I don't want to say her name, Brian's girlfriend. Okay. Brian has met Tyler via FaceTime. Whenever he was here, it just didn't line up for them to meet because he kind of got the kids and had to go because they had stuff planned, obviously. So Brian's met him on FaceTime. They've talked on FaceTime. They had talked like long before this time. I think they started talking on FaceTime. Like, Tyler would just kind of talk back like a month or two ago. And no, it was before that. It was before Brian even came here. I want to say like maybe end of October. So yeah, like a month or two ago. We'd be having conversations, and then Brian like asked about Tyler's truck once, and then like they were talking. So they do really well with each other. Brian really seems to like him. I haven't met Brian's girlfriend yet. It's not for lack of trying, but she either hasn't been there when I've been on FaceTime, but the kids have met her via FaceTime. obviously I want to meet her, so please don't think that I don't want to meet her, because if she's going to be around my children, I just want to make sure she's like a nice person. And from what I've heard though, she is a great person. Okay, I'm trying to get the last few in. People have asked me if I've had COVID yet. I have not had COVID yet. A lot of questions about if I've thought about marrying Tyler. The answer is no. I know that Tyler does want to get married one day. And I know that personally I'm not opposed to getting married again. It's all about the person and the timing, and that's not even remotely in the near future. So I mean, I know that that's always an exciting thing for people on YouTube. You know, it's marriages, it's babies and new houses, but I just don't really want to live my life in order to get views on YouTube. I just want to stay true to who I am. And right now, I mean, we've only been dating for 6 months. I think Tyler is a wonderful, wonderful person. And looking back now, this was actually a question on one of these slides. Someone asked me how I feel about Tyler now versus when I met him, and it is a night and day difference. Yes, in the beginning I didn't like him. I kind of made myself close off from that, and obviously it came off rude on the video. Everyone told me that. And looking back now, I'm so glad I did not discount him, because he is one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life, and he has the kindest heart of anyone I've ever met in my entire life. He has been a blessing to me, and I'll just leave it at that. A lot of questions about if I want to be a stay-at-home mom in the future. The answer is no, I don't. I want to work. That's why I'm going through school right now. I have a career, like a career goal for myself, and I see myself being a working mom. I mean, that's just what I desire to do. I love my kids. I absolutely love them. But luckily with a nurse's schedule, you're 3 days on, and yeah, that's your full-time week. So I'll have days off during the week to see them. So I'll kind of get the best of both worlds. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, question about lip filler. I have not had Juvederm in my lips for several years. I think it's been like 2.5 years at this point. The last time I had anything done to my lips at all was in August of this year. I had Botox in the very top of my lip because a friend of mine had a group do it, and it was way cheaper. And all they did was put a little bit in the top of my lip to kind of flip it upwards. But I haven't had filler in my lip in years. I overline them a lot, and my filler really has lasted. I know it's supposed to dissolve in like a year. But I think the more you get it, the more it's supposed to last. In the future, I would like to get more if my lip kind of goes back to being completely flat like it was. But right now, no, I'm not getting any filler. Question about this. When did you tell Tyler you had 3 kids? How did he feel about it? I don't think it's an awkward conversation. I think you just have to be upfront, like, hey, you know, I have children. I don't remember when I told him. This is a really good question. I had to think about this one. I'm pretty sure I told him as like an excuse to not go out with him after he kept asking me out. We had kind of been texting back and forth, and I said, let's go out. And I'm like, no. And he's like, you have to give me a good reason. And I'm like, look, I have 3 kids. I am in nursing school full time. Like, you know, I just got a divorce, like all these things. And he was like not even fazed by that. For one thing, I don't think Tyler looks at me having 3 kids as being a problem or being baggage. I know that sometimes people just don't want to date someone with kids because of all the responsibility that can come along with it. But I don't remember him reacting really bad to it. Obviously, things are going great now. But I know I did tell him earlier on, because I kind of used that as like, I'm not going to go out with you because I have all this going on. But, I mean, yeah, it was fine, I guess, because here we are. So, change of scenery on this last one. I actually filmed the Q&A a little while ago, and I went and had lunch. And I came back, and I just wanted to pray about it, about coming out and really telling the story about why her and I are not friends. And because I filmed the Q&A and said everything. And I'm going to answer this question. The question was, what really happened between you and your former best friend? Instead of me going through and telling every detail, because no matter who's in the wrong, I do feel like maybe there is still privacy, because you guys can literally probably find her somehow, you know, and I've said her name on here before, and I don't really want anything to happen, like anyone to be mean or anything like that. So I'm going to answer the question about what happened between her and I in a more condensed version, just kind of laid back like this, because I feel like this might be the right way to do it. I kind of just unleashed feelings in that Q&A and started uploading it, went to eat, came back, and I just felt off. So, in a condensed version, because I still feel like no matter what I'm saying to the camera, I would say to her face directly. I would say it if she was sitting right here next to me. Our friendship ended because she made a decision that I did not agree with, and it went against her marriage. And I offered my advice several times about what to do, and that I didn't agree with the decision, but that I loved her and support her no matter what she decided. But at the end of the day, she needed to make a decision, that because not only was she involved, her husband was involved, and someone else was. And I lived in Iowa at the time, and I found out about it when it was way too far into it. And once I moved back to Alabama, it all came to light. And in order to kind of help herself out and save herself, she threw all the blame onto me, saying that I facilitated this outside activity, which I hadn't even found out about until it had been going on for several months. And in return, I got blamed for it, which is wild. It doesn't even make sense, but that's what happened. And several months went by that I was attacked by the person who blamed me for all of it, her spouse. And him and I have since talked about it, and he knows the truth now. But no matter what is repaired, you can't repair the damage that was done. Basically, she threw our friendship away and blamed me for an unspeakable thing that I had nothing to do with, and never came out and was honest and made it clear that I did not support it. So I hope that kind of sums it up. I don't hold any hostility towards her. If I were to run into her, I just wouldn't speak. There's no hostility. I forgive her. It took a lot of praying to not hate her, to not be upset. But I lost a big part of my life when I lost her, and I'm shocked by, to this day, I'm still shocked at what transpired. I am just mind blown. But it is what it is. And I hope that I definitely feel better about saying it this way, because what I did in the video was I unleashed a whole year of emotions, and I don't think that's fair, because I don't want to be the kind of person that she was to me. So I still have love for her as a person, and I do forgive her, but if she appeared tomorrow asking me to be friends with her again, I would not, which I'm pretty sure that she knows. But I don't hate her, I don't have hostility towards her, but I'm still devastated by it, and I don't even know how this happened, to be honest. Like, I tried to offer her the best advice that I could at the time, and it just bit me in the butt. So, yeah, there's that. So, I'm going to end the video like this. It definitely a somber note to end the video on, of course, but I saved this question for last because I felt like I was going to explain everything, and then when I did that, I just don't necessarily feel like it's right to come on here and unleash a bunch of emotions. I just kind of wanted to speak the truth about it, and that's what happened. And it is what it is. I definitely can't change it, and it definitely showed me the kind of person that she was, and it blindsided me to hell and back. Just to be completely honest, I was completely blindsided by it. I do wish the best for her. Honestly, I wish the best for her, And I'm sad that I won't get to see her kids grow up, and that my daughter doesn't have her friends, because her kids were friends with my daughter, and it's hard to explain to her why they're not part of our life anymore. But sometimes it is what it is. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to 2021, to just move past this year. There's just been so many things that, I mean, there's been wonderful things come out of it, and then some not so wonderful things to come out of it. But that's going to be all for today's video. I will see you guys in 2 days on Saturday for a house update, another house update. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.